Okay. So welcome everybody. My name is Rémy. I'm working at Coop IT. And I'm a developer and also one of the migration guy in the team. So today we are going to put some magic in your migration process by introducing a new tool, odoo-openupgrade-wizard. So there will be the slide is a little bit cut on the bottom, but anyway. So 3 parts: introduction, OpenUpgrade-wizard, and the questions. And let's start with the introduction. So migrating Odoo database takes several steps, and basically it's setting an Odoo environment for each version, get database backup, clean your data, run Odoo with OpenUpgrade for each version, and then export the database and go on production. Yes, there is a missing part, and that's annoying, so I will fix that. Why is it not working? Mirroring, I should change, maybe like this. Okay, so if I try this, no, it don't want to do that. Full screen, yes, so I will do like this. You will have the full slides. Okay. Yes, if you want to go deeper in this migration process, I invite you to watch the talk of my colleague Hugh that has been done yesterday at 10:30. And obviously, when you follow these steps, there will be issues, problems. So at each step of the migration, something will go wrong, and you will have to restart from the beginning or restart from the previous steps. And also, without a frozen environment, your migration will not be deterministic. If you try to migrate at one time t, and then you try to migrate with the new database of the client, 1 month later, it should produce the same results. So it's important to have frozen environment. Of course, if you're working on one machine, you can have issues by setting multiple Odoo environments. Also, your data that's coming from the client needs to be cleaned before processing migration. It will save you lots of troubles if your data are clean. And also by doing this by hand, launching each process and like writing some little scripts to do that, it will be messy at some at one point. And yes, so we need a tool for fixing that, and this tool is odoo-openupgrade-wizard. So it's created by a cooperation between Sylvain from the GRAP and Coop IT. And there is now other contributors participating to the code. So about OpenUpgrade-wizard, what is it? It's a CLI tool that helps you to create a migration environment and automate and standardize your migration process. It comes with defaults to migrate Odoo Community Edition, the standard module, I mean, and it can be configured, and in fact it must be configured if you want to port also OCA modules or custom modules that you have developed. It's on PyPI, and the code is on GitLab, so the link is on the screen. And it's currently used at Coop IT for migrating our client database and at the GRAP. So what's the technologies behind this tool? It uses Dockers to create the environment for PostgreSQL and the Odoo environment. It uses Git aggregator to get the code and all the pull requests you will create or need for migrating your database and your modules. It uses Python as a programming language, also as a scripting language to fix things in the with your data. It uses SQL, obviously, to fix and clean your data, and it uses YAML as a configuration file. So now I will get the journey with you in the process of migrating a database. So with this tool, the first step you do is using the init function. It's on the title left. All the functions, all the commands linked to odoo-openupgrade-wizard will be on the top left. And so this command, it creates a directory with directory created and configuration files and templates that you can use like this if you want to migrate a database with community edition modules, or that you need to configure if you want to port your custom module or OCA modules. And you need to specify little things like the project name, the initial version, and the latest version you want to migrate to, and also fix the PostgreSQL version you will use for this this migration. Then, when you have done that, you will you want to get the code. So get the code for each version of Odoo. So for doing that, you have to write your custom repositories and the OCA repositories you need in the file, the YAML file that's mentioned on the slides, and then it's basically a Git aggregator file. So easy if you use already this tool. If you don't know it, check on GitHub its documentation. And what Getcode is doing is just using Git aggregate to aggregate all the code you need, all the pull requests you need for your migration. Of course, there is a little option that you can use for resyncing only one version. So, example, if something is new in the 16th version, you can just rerun this only on the 16th version. There is also a nice feature about pulling submodules. I will not go in deeper on that, but you can read the manual of the program if you want to use it. And after that, you have your code, you have your project directory, and then you can build your Docker image to start migrating. So building the Docker image, you use the Docker build function, and what it does, yes, obviously it's building a Odoo environment, but if you want to configure it, you can use the extra Debian requirements. If you just need one Debian package more to run your Odoo, you can just add it in this file. And if you want extra Python requirements, because your custom module need it, you can add it in the extra Python requirements.txt. And if you need more customization for any reason, you can just modify the Docker file that comes with odoo-openupgrade-wizard. You can change it the way you want to fix your need, to fit your needs. Sorry. Obviously, building the Docker, you will not need to do this every time you go in the project. Many you do it once, and then it's done for your migration process because the code is not part of the Docker. The code is on your local machine, so it will be updated if you use Getcode to resync your code. You will need to rebuild something if you need new dependencies or something like that. Okay, so now you have your environment set up. So you have two choices. The first choice is, I want to try a migration. So you can use the function install from CSV, and this command will create a fresh new demo database, and it will install the modules that you can list in the modules.csv file. So it's a CSV file. You can add one module per line, and you will end with a new database, fresh database with demo data. And you can try your migration process with that. That's the first part. The second part is, okay, now I have my production database and I want to import it in this migration environment and try to migrate this specific data. So for that, you use the restore-db command. There is several formats supported. They are listed there, but mainly it's just an import function using default tools of PostgreSQL to get your database into the Docker environment for this migration. It's not merged yet, but will be soon. Okay, so now you have your environment, you have your Docker configured, you have your database, and now it's time to check if your database works in the initial version. So for doing that, you can just use the run function, and the run function will start the database, restart an odoo on this database, and you can access it with your browser. So easy. And there is an option, like you see, step 1, and that's a little bit non-clear at the moment, but it will be clear later. And because when you have your database, you access it, everything is okay in the initial version, you can begin to upgrade. And so the upgrade subcommand is there for doing that. So a migration consists of several steps. One step is for a regular update with the initial version. Then you have one step for each update with OpenUpgrade-wizard. And at the end, you have a regular update on the latest version, the target version. On the slide, there is an example for going from 14 to 16. And the last step, obviously now with the new framework of OpenUpgrade, it's not needed, but with previous version of OpenUpgrade, it was a needed step because OpenUpgrade was a copy of Odoo at one point of the time, and maybe Odoo has moved forward a little bit in between, so you have to resync your database with the latest Odoo version. Yes, so what's a step in the OpenUpgrade concept? So a step consists of the three following actions. So running a pre-migration SQL script, updating the module on the database, and then running a post-migration script in Python. These two scripts has nothing to do with the post and pre-migration script you can find in OpenUpgrade for each modules. These are more generic scripts that are run each step of the migration. It helps you to clean your data and fix things that are not common. And I will go deeper in that on the next slide. So, yes, and last things, obviously, what is really nice with this is that with the upgrade command is that you can choose which step you start from and which steps you end. So a good process when you try is to just go from the first step to the second step and see if everything is okay. If everything is okay, then you can go from the second step to the third step, and go, etc., etc. It's easier to restart from the previous step. Okay, so the pre-migration script. So as I said, it's SQL queries that will be run on the database. The important thing is that as it is SQL, Odoo is not launched at this time. So if the database is broken, for example, in the initial version, you can clean it and make it work without running Odoo. You can remove unneeded data, perform operation, mass operation on data, because SQL is fast. There is also a small command to execute only this script on a database without performing the other stage of the step, like updating the modules and so on. And obviously, if you fix, if your SQL file, pre-migration file, fix a common use case, I encourage you to add it on the OpenUpgrade script on the right module. Do not keep it for you. It's too selfish. And then the same with the post-migration. But the post-migration is in Python. It's run with the shell, or mainly in Odoo. So you can perform like more generic operation. For example, uninstalling a module or installing a module or fixing some data with Python. Sometimes it's easier, but it's also a little bit slower, so keep that in mind if you have a lot of data. Okay, so with all that, normally you will end the step and your database will be migrated. But there is small helpers, like the PSQL helpers. As its name suggests, it's just PSQL on your database, so you can inspect it. As your database is in a Docker, you don't have to remember the name of your Docker and so on and so on. You can just run PSQL, my database name, and then you run any command you want to inspect your database at one point of the migration steps to see if everything is okay or to try fixes anyway. And also the CopyDB is a really useful helper, as you can at any point of the steps, you can just make a template or copy the database to start again without losing all the previous steps you've already done, and that works. And finally, you can dump your database to get a backup and put it on your test or staging server, and yeah, that's it. Several formats available also. Okay, and now it's a biggest. I let the most important to the end, because before doing all that, you have to be sure that you have all the modules you need in all the versions. A little bit as the previous presentation introduced you. A bigger product here is a little smaller, but does the same thing in the way that it checks that the module you have listed in module.csv exists on the initial version. So it will report which module is missing. Maybe you forget to add your custom branch or something else. And it will check in other version for each module. Does this module have been renamed? Has this module been removed? Is the migration already done, the porting of the code already done for this module or not? And it will give you a nice report with all this. And it also estimates the time. And you can configure the estimation time based on the velocity of your team. And that can be configured in the configure.yaml file. I will show you some example after that, after the slides. And okay, so what's the improvement that need to be done on this tool is working on the CI. It's a little bit complex because it runs Docker, so the CI is a little bit complex and it needs to be improved. We need to add some more features like command to drop the database or other features that will help the process. And yes, for example, make debugging Docker easier. In fact, lots of little things that will ease more the process. And there is also like other features that we don't use often, but for example, there is a feature for generate module analysis for a module. It can be the standard module, but generally it's done by the maintainers, but you can use for your own module if you have made change and you have not tracked it. So yeah. So now I can show you a little bit of example. So if I go over there like this, I can show you a report. Yes. Yep, without error. Did he? Yes. Okay. Nice. This one, yes. So the screen is small, but yes, that's the kind of report you get using estimate workload. Obviously, it gives you errors if they do not find some the modules, but it lists also all the modules, all the version, green when the module exists, and other colors for other types. It also give you information about if there is something to do or not. The first part is for standard modules, and after that you have all your custom module. I will reach it now, so you see, for example, OCA modules. Is it ported or not? And an estimation of the time. Here is the time in minutes, but you can set it in hours like you want. And if you want to export that in Excel file, you can just copy paste it and make computation on that. So that's for the report. And if we want to look at an example of an odoo-openupgrade project, it looks like this. So you have maybe 3, 4, 2 will be okay. So you have log files, configuration files, log files, and then your environment, your scripts, your environment here, and yeah. Maybe I can stop here and ask if you have questions, and I can show you an example. Now I'm working on porting the HR module from 15 to 16, so I have a little environment for that. Yeah. Is there any question? Yes?
Let's presume that I'm a database administrator. I don't know nothing about Odoo. Company has installed version 16. I'm looking at the database. They're asking me for tomorrow to install Odoo 17. I'm going to install version 17, the database. They also asked me to migrate the data from 14 to 17. As a database administrator, I'm looking at, okay, version 17 has a new data structure. So what I do a delta, what's in 14 is missing in 17 and vice versa. Then I look at the data. Okay, I can migrate the data from 14 to 17. if the company is going to start version 17, will it work? And if not, why not?
So your question is, so your problem is that you already start working on the 17, and you have also data on 14 that you want to.
Yeah, I have
keep
nothing in the no data in the
Okay.
17,
No data.
but I have installed the database structure.
Okay.
In 14, I have the database structure and the data.
Okay. So as far as I know, migrating database in Odoo doesn't work like that. So you have to start with your database in 14 and use the OpenUpgrade tools to.
I don't know anything about it, so that's what.
Yes, but if you know anything about it, you can do that.
The data from A to B. And the question is, what is going to happen? It will not work.
It will not work, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So you need to use the OpenUpgrade script, because on the OpenUpgrade script there is the information that these field of structure has changed, and the data should be changed this way to match the new data model in the targeted version. So all the information is there, and yes, there is no automated tool that can do that all the way that it's meant to be used. And the way it's to be used, the way it needs to be used is like I suggested in this project with the process I presented. Other questions? Yes, Rémy.
You said there is a command to copy database. Is the script, if you run from 14 to 16 in one go, does it copy database at each step, or it keeps the same database?
The copy database is separated because we don't know if your database is really big or really small. So at each steps, you can choose, okay, I need to make a copy because this step works, so I can just copy it using copy-db, and you choose a name to backup it. But maybe your database is really big and you don't have the place to copy it, and you can just dump it, for example, using the dump command. So it's up to you to choose how to do that, but you have to do it manually at each step for now. Yes? Sorry, I didn't hear it.
If you have an enterprise database,
Enterprise database, okay. So go ahead. Enterprise database, yes. I.
Normally using the odoo with the migration and how can I use this open upgrade?
So if you have an enterprise database, I'm not managed enterprise database, so I've heard that you can give your database to Odoo, and it will send you back a database with standard module migrated, but not your custom modules. I think it's that. And okay, so if you have that, you can just configure this environment to run OpenUpgrade just on your custom modules. And so you follow the same process, I think, and the update will be done only on your custom modules. Yes.
Okay, so you say okay with the custom modules, just an open upgrade and the rest is.
Yes, I think if your database you get the module will be listed as version 16, for example, but a module that will not have been updated by Odoo as a version number like 12, and so when you perform an upgrade and not activated, yes, so you may need to make a script in the SQL to reactivate it, or by Python, and then performing the upgrade and the update all will be done only on the module with lower version that you targeted. Yes. Other questions? I think you're almost done. So.